Good afternoon and welcome to KTN Newsdesk. My name is Edith Kimani. An uncomfortable, long and tedious morning for most residents in Nairobi as matatus decide to go on strike. That's one of the stories we're looking at this afternoon, and here's a look at other stories we've prepared for you. As mentioned, the matatu strike. City residents left stranded as matatu operators down their tools. Kenya Pipeline Company seeking land to build LPG bottling facility. And also in this bulletin, Uganda sends more troops into Somalia under AMISOM. Good afternoon. Public service vehicle operators disrupted transport in Nairobi City County after they went on strike to protest fee increase for seasonal tickets. The protesting matatu crews took control of the central business district and blocked roads, inconveniencing other motorists. Along Thika Superhighway, some goons took advantage of the strike to steal from motorists and passengers. That's just a look of what the city was like this morning. Of course, we have reports from taxi drivers and border operators saying they were being pelted with rocks from the matatu drivers, saying that they too needed to be part of the strike. There seems to be a standoff now between the county government and matatu operators, and Patrick Amimo will have the details for us in a short while. Elsewhere, the national flag, emblems and names bill got to the floor of the National Assembly today, eliciting a heated debate on whether governors should continue flying the national flag on their official cars. Among other issues proposed in the bill is that governors should be stripped the title Your Excellency, which should only be reserved for the president and his deputy. Here's how the debate panned out.
I've indicated to my good friend, Honorable Kenan, that I know his intentions are good, but even with good intentions, whatever law you raise must be constitutional. Madam Speaker, I want to refer you so that when you are making your ruling, you will be guided by constitutional provisions. Madam Speaker, I want to speak to Article 10 of the Constitution on Principles of Governance, Madam Speaker, and that is what Honorable Nguba was talking about, patriotism. That, Madam Speaker, even the countries that people have given, like Sudan and the United States, where people fly flags all over, it's an issue of patriotism. So when you want to make a symbol of national unity as a private member's thing, then you are taking away our right to be proud as Kenyans to fly our flags.
Once we recognize that we have these symbols as our national symbols, and that is the national flag, the national anthem, the coat of arms, the public seal, we must also define how these national symbols shall be used by anybody in our republic. And we are saying that we must limit the utility of these symbols. We cannot have, for example, the national seal being used by every Kenyan in any which way that they wish to use it.
It's really looking at control of the use of the national flag on motor vehicles by state officers. What does that mean? That we don't wake up one day and every state officer has a flag on their car as a symbol of their status, and then we cause confusion, Madam Speaker. And unless we do that, we are going to continue having the confusion we are seeing right now. And I think it is very, very important that we really limit the usage of the national flags by state officers. Otherwise, it's going to be misused. Madam Speaker, we have already seen that most of the state officers, and I want to say this with respect to the governors, they are misusing their flag. Having a flag on your motor vehicle doesn't mean you come and cause snarls of traffic jams just because you have a national flag. I think it is simply a show of unity, and it must go with some responsibility, Madam Speaker.
Members of the cabinet have converged for the second of a 4-day retreat in Nanyuki to take stock of government's performance 1 year after taking office. Now, the president, who is chairing the meeting, has called on collective responsibility from his cabinet to ensure realization of the Jubilee Manifesto. As the government, however, takes stock, Kenyans, it was revealed in an Ipsos Synovate poll, are concerned about the state of the economy, with majority of those polled saying unemployment and inflation was their greatest concern. The 4-day meeting is meant to look into such issues and how best to address these concerns. President Uhuru's government is on the spot after failing to deliver on most of the promises made on the campaign trail a year into office. Is a police service. Never mind that there's vetting that's continuing. And now Rita Tinina joins us with the latest from Westlands, where there's an update on that. Rita Tinina, please bring us up to speed.
Well, Edith, the National Police Service Commission this hour just concluding the vetting of Francis Njiru. He is the man, he is an senior assistant commissioner of police. He is in charge of operations at the CID headquarters. Francis Njiru at one time worked with what has been seen as extremist groups. He is the one who started the Kwekwe squad to deal with the Mungiki. Later on, he was transferred to Mount Elgon to help deal with the Sabaot Lands Defense Force. But when he appeared before the commission just a short while ago, the commission took him up on issues that he is involved with currently, asking him about the spate of crime in the city and why there seems to be an upsurge in crime. He tried to explain the current pattern of crime, saying that perhaps 4 or 5 years back there was crime in areas such as Githurai, in Kahawa. Now crime seems to be in the upmarket areas like Karen. He explained, and he was blaming security firms, saying perhaps they collude with the criminals. He also pointed an accusing finger at the police, saying maybe some officers are colluding with the criminals. Before Njiru appeared before the commission, Eric Kirai, the one-time police spokesman, was vetted earlier on this morning. Eric Kirai, now in charge of safety and security at the Kenya Airports Authority. He was taken up on various issues as well. The fire at the JKIA several months ago, he said at that point he felt very helpless. But with Eric Kirai there, he didn't bring before the commission several documents that the commission had requested. He didn't bring his certificates. He also did not bring a bank account for his wife. When asked about that, he said that he's been married for over 2 decades and he has never seen his wife's bank statement. One of the commissioners then suggested that perhaps he should have asked for that bank statement and asked his wife to deliver it in person and in a sealed envelope. Then perhaps he would not have had to see that bank statement for the very first time. Before Eric Kirai, there was Patrick Lumumba. He is in charge of operations here in the city. He was taken up he's in charge of reforms at the police headquarters here in the city. He was taken up on issues such as what kind of reforms he hopes to bring to the service. He says he has a master plan. He outlined it before the commission. Earlier on, the first thing this morning when the commission began sitting, there was William Singoe, the second in command at the GSU Reke Company. This is the Reke squad that responded to the Westgate attack. But he requested that his vetting be done in camera. That vetting was done in camera. William Singoe, of course, is also the person who is in charge of the president's security, the president plus his family. His security is taken charge of by the department that is headed by William Singoe. As I mentioned, the vetting was done in camera. Today, the National Police Service Commission will be vetting a total of 32 police officers, most of them senior assistant commissioners of police. In total, the commission will be vetting 166 police officers. Initially, there were 184 police officers who were to be vetted. 16 of them pulled out, leaving 166. And what the commission has done to be able to handle that number is that commission members have divided themselves into 4 panels. So each panel in a day will be interviewing several people. Those panels. Panel number 1 is headed by Commissioner Ronald Musengi. Panel number 2 by Commissioner Mohammed Murshid. Panel number 3 by Mary Owor. While panel number 4 is headed by the Commission's chairman, Johnson Kavuludi. And what the commission has done, it has decided to do the vetting exercise 3 days in a week. That is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So what happens when they do the vetting exercise on Monday, on Tuesday, they sit to review what happened on Monday, just to ensure that there is no backlog in the vetting exercise. The commission says that it should be able to give the results of the vetting exercise in the next 3 weeks or so. This afternoon, several police officers lined up for the vetting. Under Commissioner Murshid Mohammed's panel number 2, there will be Elijah Osodo. He's in charge of administration at the Administration Police Headquarters, as well as Wilfred Mbidi is in charge of police operations in Nairobi area. When you talk about all deployments in the city, where there is a crisis, where there is a strike, if there is evictions, shootings, he is the man who is in charge of all the deployments in Nairobi. So here, the National Police Service Commission vetting continuing today. Of course, tomorrow there will be a break for the commission to review what they will have gathered today. Then the vetting will then proceed on Friday, break for the weekend break, then resume again on Monday, Wednesday and Friday next week to conclude on the 14th of March. Edith.
All right, thank you very much, Rita Tinina. She is our senior reporter. She'll be bringing us more details of the vetting later on in our 9 p.m. bulletin, so do stay tuned for that. But now let's revisit an issue that we had addressed earlier, where the public service vehicle operators disrupted transport in Nairobi City County after they went on strike to protest fee increase for seasonal tickets. Remember, it has been increased to 8,000 shillings from 3,000 shillings, and matatu operators are saying that this is simply unreasonable. But the way they have decided to deal with this has raised concerns because they have created chaos. There have been reports of crimes in the city owing to that strike, blocked roads, inconveniencing other motorists. And Patrick Amimo has the proper details of that story.
Commuters on many roads in the city were stranded for the better part of the day when public service vehicle operators went on strike. Along Jogoo Road in the eastlands part of the city, vehicles belonging to Forward Travelers and Umo Inner Circle blocked the road near the city stadium, causing a heavy traffic jam. Police had to intervene and lobbied several tear gas canisters in the air to disperse the striking matatu operators and unblock the road. The few public service vehicles that ferried commuters to town hiked the fares. For instance, passengers from Kayole to Central Business District were forced to pay 350 shillings from the normal fare of 80 shillings. Boda boda operators also made a kill from desperate passengers. From Donholm roundabout, boda bodas were charging 400 shillings to town, a distance of almost 5 kilometers.
Hey, mpaka wapi brother? Nenda Western. Alafu sasa shida imekuwa nini? Bwana shida tumelipa natoka Kayole tumefika Doni. Tumelipa so moja unafika Doni unaambiwa hela hapo. Cars zimekwama.
However, public service vehicles that ferried passengers to town terminated their journeys outside the Central Business District to avoid their vehicles being pelted by marauding protesters. In the Central Business District, the striking matatu operators took control of the roads in the city center. The mobs harassed taxi operators, calling on them to join the protest. Private motorists who were caught in the mayhem were harassed. Along Kenyatta Avenue, taxi operators joined the striking matatu operators and blocked the road. Vehicles belonging to Forward Travelers and Umo Inner Circle led the protesters in blocking roads in the city center. Strange enough, police never intervened but left the mobs to disrupt traffic flow in the Central Business District. Tuk-tuk operators who attempted to carry passengers to the Central Business District were harassed and some had their collections stolen by protesters. The same fate befell unlucky boda boda operators. The Matatu Owners Association held a hurried press conference to explain why they are on strike.
We squarely blame the county government for this mess.
They have increased our seasonal tickets from 2,200 to 5,000, from 3,000 to 80,000, from 4,000 to 10,000, an amount we can't afford.
The governor of Nairobi made a comment on the protests.
The county government will not tolerate blackmail. Neither will it tolerate impunity. So we've just agreed that they will get the matatus to stop blocking the roads. Then we will discuss and come to an agreement. Without matatus getting off or stopping the blockage, we will not have any discussion.
Public service vehicle operators have lodged a case in the Court of Appeal seeking to reverse the new charges levied by the Nairobi City County government. But instead of waiting for the case to be heard and determined, they decided to go on strike and paralyze other activities. Patrick Amimo, KTN.
Well, as you've clearly seen from those pictures, police did not intervene. Never mind that the Inspector General of Police, David Kimayo, said that all matatu operators and taxis who were involved in the strike will have their number plates taken away from them, and the cars were meant to be towed. He did term the operation as intolerable, saying that the number plates again will be confiscated. More details will follow shortly. But to matters of religion now, and millions of Christians worldwide have today begun their 40-day period of fasting. Lent, as it is known in the Christian calendar, will see the believers fasting and praying, as well as reflecting on the 40 days that Jesus Christ spent in the desert. In Nairobi, Archbishop David Kamau presided over the morning mass at the Queen of Apostles Seminary and urged Christians to uphold morality in the current evolving times. The Ugandan gay law was also in discussion, with the church urging the Kenyan government to follow suit and shun what it terms as immorality.
See, the word allowed us, especially what we had from in Uganda, where people are asked, money or God? And then they said, well, it's for God. So I'm asking our people today to pray that also our government will acknowledge that we prefer God than material things. And once we do that, the rest will be ours. God will provide for material things and for money.
A group of 19 women fish traders in Kisumu have adopted an innovative system to help them purchase their own fishing equipment. KTN's Fred Omulo tells us why this campaign has been dubbed No Sex for Fish.
The scourge of the fishing trade has for a long time been the business arrangement in which fishermen engage primarily in fetching the product, while women engage in trade at the retail level. This leaves them at the mercy of unscrupulous fishermen who often demand sexual favors before selling their product. The No Sex for Fish campaign aims at overturning this arrangement by enabling women to own their boats, something rare in most beaches here.
Getting fish enough for your business is very difficult. So when you go to a man, you have to get jaboya, and it was real. But right now, with the boats we have had now, when they come, she will come in my boat. There is no way we'll talk about sex.
To build a boat costs $1,400 US, which I believe is about 102,000 shillings. So it's not really a lot of money when you know that it's going to support 3 women. Each boat will support 3 women. And that is where we are heading now.
4 years ago, fish traders at Ogenya and Nyamori beaches in Nyando came together under the assistance of the US Peace Corps and decided to buy their own boats and fishing gear, ultimately becoming the employers of the fishermen. The success of their cooperative has seen them amass 10 boats, prompting the American government to chip in 3 more this year.
And we are just so pleased that we can help a group of ladies take control of their lives, be breadwinners for their families, understand the importance of health and independence and autonomy.
We are most likely going to stop new infections, because when you empower the woman so that they don't become vulnerable to the men that most likely are infected, then of course you reduce chances of infection.
Each boat supports 3 women and can bring in as much as 10,000 shillings in profits every day, uplifting numerous communities around the lake. The success of the initiative has attracted funding from the US government and other interested organizations, with plans to expand it into other counties that bear the brunt of sexually transmitted diseases. From Kisumu County, I am Fred Omulo.
Welcome back to KTN Newsdesk. I'm glad you're still watching. Let's have a look at business now. And Kenya Pipeline Company plans to build a liquefied petroleum gas storage and bottling plant this year. This is part of the company's strategy to help meet growing demand for the commodity in the region. Michael Karanja with that report.
Kenya Pipeline is in the process of purchasing land in Kajiado County to put up the new LPG storage and bottling facilities. In a paid-up advert, the company says it is looking for an 80 to 100-acre piece of land situated along the Mombasa-Nairobi railway line. A study jointly conducted by the Ministry of Energy and the World Bank in 2005 recommended that LPG facilities with a total capacity of 8,700 tons be set up in Nairobi, Mombasa, Kisumu, Eldoret, and Nakuru. This is expected to meet growing demand of LPG given its current constraints, driven by a lack of LPG import facilities at Mombasa and a weak distribution network. The LPG storage capacity in the country remains low at 3,960 tons. Construction of the facility is expected to commence this year, while phased development of other inland facilities should commence by mid-2015. Kenya Pipeline is expected to assess the capacity required to ensure the availability and accessibility of LPG at affordable cost to households through a study. Michael Karanja, Newsdesk.
Uganda has accepted to dispatch a 410-strong special force to guard UN installations in Somalia's capital, Mogadishu. The protection squad will free up thousands of UN-backed troops to pursue militant Islamists in the city. The Al-Qaeda-linked Al-Shabaab group has stepped up attacks in Mogadishu in recent weeks, with at least 12 people having been killed in suicide bombings last Thursday. Last June, it carried out a major assault on the main UN base in Mogadishu, leaving at least 22 people dead. The terror group has waged an 8-year insurgency to overthrow the weak UN-backed government and create an Islamic state in Somalia. A 22,000-strong African Union force operating under a UN mandate continues to battle Al-Shabaab in Somalia despite a lean budget and low troop deployment. The national soccer team Harambee Stars left the country Tuesday evening for a friendly match against Sudan's Falcons in Khartoum later in the day. This will be the first high-profile friendly match for Stars since their friendly match against South Africa in 2012. Coach Adel Amuruche, who has been out of the country, named a strong squad that comprises of most of the players who steered the country to the 2013 Sekafa victory in Nairobi. Asia Jacos, Dennis Oliech, McDonald Mariga and Victor Mugubi are some of the foreign-based players.
The players who won Sekafa. So we believe that nothing will be a mess.
Revenge, a kind of revenge match because we defeated them in the finals here 2-0. So it is not going to be an easy match. Yeah, we expect victory.
It's a busy schedule for me, as in CAF, now again national duty, then Saturday again CAF. But it's a job, yeah, it's professionalism, and that's it.
The murder trial against South African Paralympian Oscar Pistorius entered day 2 on Tuesday, with the second witness at the murder trial telling the court in the capital, Pretoria, that the woman who was, the witness was awoken by the sounds of a fight early on 14th February 2013. Pistorius has pleaded not guilty to intentionally killing his girlfriend, River Steenkamp.
For the first time in South Africa, parts of the Oscar Pistorius murder trial are being televised live, although some witness testimonies are being excluded from TV broadcast, although the audio of the entire trial is being aired. The second day of the trial began with defense lawyer Barry Rocks questioning Miss Berger, who is one of the witnesses, about her account of hearing a woman's screams, a man calling for help, and then 4 gunshots. Mr. Rocks, in his continued defense of his client, suggested that expert evidence would prove that Miss Steenkamp would have been unable to scream between shots.
I can only offer my version. I'm not asking if you agree now with it. You heard. My version did not.
Hold on. When counsel asks a question, you answer that question.
The second witness to take to the stand on Tuesday on her part claims to have been woken up by sounds of a fight early on 14th of February 2013. State prosecutors say Mr. Pistorius planned the killing and shot Miss Steenkamp after a row, but the 27-year-old double amputee and gold medal winner maintains that he shot Miss Steenkamp after mistaking her for a burglar. Many South Africans are following the case closely.
I wished one day I could be like him, you know, like make young sportsmen have something to look forward to. Yeah, but now it's really a disappointment.
The case continues, and if found guilty of premeditated murder, Pistorius could face life imprisonment.
Well, that's why we wind up this edition of KTN Newsdesk. Remember, the website to be on is www.standardmedia.co.ke. A look now at our Did You Know fact. I asked a friend to send me a Did You Know fact. He did not. He could not be bothered, and therefore he does not get his shout out. But your Did You Know fact. Did you know we are attracted to the scent of people genetically different from us to avoid incest? I don't know about that. There are people who get married to their cousins and they say they're perfectly happy with it. They are in love with them. You tell me what you think. My name is Edith Kimani. Good afternoon.